Bonjour. Right, you all know why we're here. The best part of the week. New comic book day. And we're going to go through, we're going to go through 6 of the best plus cover of the week. Well, in my opinion, I'm going to show you what I believe to be 6 of the best. Please let me know if you're going to pick up anything this week. Let me know in the comments what you're enjoying. It might be something I've overlooked, but I've got to admit I had a stack this week. There must be another dozen or 14 books again this week. It's going a bit mental, but it's good. I love it. And as well as letting me know in the comments, loving you all for liking, and I'm loving you mental ones for subscribing. So please, thank you all for doing that. Just thought I'd say that before we get going. Let's dive right into it, because the first one, I've just been enjoying this. And it's Dan Abnett back at what he does best, and where him and Andy Lanning, and I've recently acquired, thanks to Paul of Comics and Fantasy in Hornchurch, more or less the complete run of that Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning Guardians of the Galaxy, plus all the associated Annihilation, Conquest, and the Realm of the Kings, War of the Kings, and all the rest of it. And I've been thoroughly enjoying them. And Dan Abnett is back on form with this one. It's not the most, it's not the most groundbreaking, but sometimes it doesn't have to be. It's a simple story well told. So, but after this one, after that comic book, we now slowly descend into horror territory, starting here. This was a thicker 72 pages of this Monn Knight this week. That's really back to. I know I kind of give it a bit of a dig, give Jed McKay a dig with I think it was the last issue or issue before, but that is how we want it. That's how you do it. So why I can't do that every month consistently, I don't know. Now continuing on the Jeff Lemire, and this is a weird little thing, but weird and wonderful. But we're still in the horror vein. Josh Williamson over at Image doing this, and I think I have reviewed this before. It may have been the first issue or maybe the second issue. But Joshua Williams really, it looks like he really does love his horror stuff, I've got to say, because not only is that a great issue 7 of this continues to be a great read, but he's kind of bringing the entire DC universe into the horror genre. And they're cracking stories. Not all Joshua Williamson, but this one is, because it's the main run. I think he's doing a couple of the others. The Batman one maybe, I think. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's concentrate on these ones. And my book of the week, it's a little bit of a weird one, really. I mean, they was all on a real level. All of these 6, to be fair, I've thoroughly enjoyed. But this one just pips it to the post. Until we do the deep dive, I'm not sure if I can really explain why. But I can tell you that it is another solid story, an unexpected, again a little bit back to basics, which I'm loving about this story. It's a bloke who gets into nightmares. I mean, it don't get more basic than that, does it, in the horror genre? But crossed over with the superhero stuff. Really have been enjoying these night terrors, DC books. So yeah, let's go through it. That's my book of the week. Let's go through it. We're going to do a deep dive of these 6. I'm not going to completely go through Monn Knight and Fishflies, because obviously they're 172 pages. I think the other one's even bigger than that. So I'm just going to give you a flavour of those. So this might be a quicker hogTALK than usual. Listen, I know a few of you out there just cheered then. Don't do that. Come on, you know you like me waffling about comics once a week. Anyway, let's get deep diving on these bad boys after the scroll. Right, so let's get the non-horror one out of the way. Good old Groot. Bless him. And we all, obviously, if you're not, this is issue 3 of this comic. I don't think the first 2 issues are going to be that difficult to find. But it's back when Groot and his 2 companions here, Tweeg and Gleef, go off on an adventure, and they meet the early age Kree Captain Marvel, and I just love it. Here's the big bad. He's IMAGs, as you can see what's going on. You can see what's going on. Basic artwork, and I'm not saying this in a bad way. This story really does rock along, and but it is the artwork does kind of suit the story. I'm saying that in a derogatory way. The artist Damon Caserio, Matt Miller on the colours. Colours are nice as well, and this just makes for a good read. Like I said earlier on, with Dan Abnett back at the writing helms. Here's Yondu, who's a woman. I think I mentioned that when I've done the issue 1 review. But it's kind of making sense. There's a bit of an origin story of Yondu in this issue, whilst, and which is what Dan Abnett does well, whilst keeping the main drive of the story going, which is this Ags bloke tree torturing Marvel for information and to release this code. And in the meanwhile, we're finding out about Yondu's backstory. Because she's with Groot, or baby Groot, because obviously this is all set back in the day. But like I say, I really have thoroughly enjoyed this. You've got your little bit of action, you've got plenty of I am Groot. What more is there to love? What more is there to love? This guy has been using these robots to decimate this planet, and they're just getting involved. The spoilers, they're called. That's kind of like the main bad in this storyline. So if you can grab hold of the first 2 issues of this, it is fun. I think you can. I don't think this is a kind of sellout, massive hit, that's gone to second printing kind of thing. I recommend it, and especially if you like that old stuff that they did, the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff that Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning did back in the day. Well worth it. There's plenty of I am Groot. Look right towards the end as it's building to a crescendo. But that's enough I am Groot, because it's all about the horror. It's all about the horror this week. I was going to do my Marlon Brando impression then from Apocalypse Now, but I'm not going to. I decided against it. Nice, mean and moody shot. There are some nice full page, just that's a great one really to start with. So you've got Black Spectre in the mix. This is kind of like this reads like this can read as a self-contained story, but it kind of also reads as a bit of a prelude to something that may be coming. Forgive me if this page is going to glare a bit, but I've kind of got I don't want to bend it too back because it's a square bound format. One thing I will mention, Marvel, $10, lads. $10. I know this is 72 pages, but that's outrageous. That's the only thing going against this book. But guys and girls, if you can afford it, I will say it is worth it. And it's got some full page stuff going for it. Some full page artwork going for it like this. A lovely job. And that's Partha Pratim doing these present day. And then you've got these other 2 guys doing the 2 different storylines. So you've got this present day storyline with Grant as the lawyer talking to Zodiac, and he's getting a bit of the ump that Steve Grant's explaining to him that Black Spectre is his biggest enemy, and Zodiac's got the ump about that. So it's setting up Zodiac versus Black Spectre. This character called 8 Balls now involved, and basically this is lovely artwork. I'm loving this depiction of Monn Knight. Look at that, even the shadow of the leaves on his back, and it's not even a full moon, so I don't know how they're getting quite as much light on it. But anyway, that's a minor. I love the imagery, so who cares whether the lighting makes sense or not. Look at this stuff. It's a great looking character, to be fair, and the artwork is fantastic. This is a great effect as well. Don't know how much the colorist was involved in that, but this is basically 8 Ball betraying Monn Knight. Like I say, I won't. Here's the first of the splash pages. Look at that. That's magnificent. beautiful, beautiful artwork. And I'll show you. This is some of the backstory of Mark Spector. Obviously, when he was a mercenary, but this is a backstory before Monn Knight. So, and again, that's nice artwork as well. Suits the backstory. Reminds me a bit of the artwork in Punisher, where the art style was so different to the main style, the two artists involved, but it works really well. I think when you're doing a backstory like this, a flashback, works really well. Now we're changing art again because we're in the modern day. We're back to Prieto, whatever it is. Here's another one of them splash pages. I'm going to show you one more of them splash pages, and then that kind of, this was a nice bit of the storyline in present day versus Black Spectre after, you know, these drones and what they're capable of. Again, nice colour in here. Nice, yeah. Lovely colouring job. Let's get to the air. Look, he's got a gun. So nice stuff. That's about halfway through. Here's another kind of, love it. Oh, and just quickly, they've given you a reprint in the back, and God knows why they've done it. It must have been for page count purposes. But this is from hogTALK magazine back in the day. I don't know why they done it. Part of me was loving seeing Bill Sienkiewicz back at like his early Monn Knight artwork, and they've done a really rough job of reproducing it here. Really rough. I don't know why they bothered doing that. That makes Bill Sienkiewicz, it's one of the worst transfers of Bill Sienkiewicz's artwork I've seen, I think. The colouring's dodgy. Looks like they've colour photocopied each page. And obviously where the hogTALK magazine was the wrong format as well, we've got all this going on because the hogTALK magazine was more of a square format. Yeah, don't know why they bother. Well, it must be a page count thing, but why not pay a writer and artist to do a little backup story? Give some up and coming talent a try. But anyway, that was a good book. It's worth it. It's well, just about worth it. Compared to, look at the price of this, $5.99. $5.99 for Jeff Lemire, and it's another square bound, probably not as thick as the Wasset, but it's still, you know, almost half the price, but it's over half the size. And it's Jeff Lemire I'm writing that art. Now, like I say, there was a lot of pages here to go through, so this is basically him writing and drawing. And on the, well, looks like the colouring as well. I will say that the art and colouring are basic, but when a writer and artist just creates his own stuff, then you're in. You know, it flows and you are in. And undoubtedly, I was straight into this story. You've got all these Fishflies. I don't know if I just called it Firefly, by the way. Forgive me if I call it Firefly again, because I think I've been doing that all day long. And it is the true effect of this area in America, or there's several areas in America around the lakes, where all these Fishflies come in. And these three boys, the story ensues from there. I'll just tell you the very, very beginning bit. These three lads, basically one of them is dared to walk across the lot to the shop to get their drinks or whatever it is, their ice cream, whatever it is, but they dare him to do it in bare feet and walk across all of these insects. They're not dead yet, they're all alive and they're all crunching under his feet. Then suddenly, before he reaches the shop, we've got this going on as well. And this is in Jeff Lemire style, giving us the intrigue. You know how he does. I want to go back. So here we are, back at the boy who's gone to the shop. Here's his two mates in the back. And look, and he's reached the shop, but oh no, he's seeing something he shouldn't. And what I'll do is I will leave it there, because if you know Jeff Lemire's work, if you don't, you should. I think I've reviewed Little Monsters. What else have I? Obviously Phantom Road I've got behind me here that I've reviewed. He's doing a lot of stuff through. He's doing a lot of stuff through Image, Jeff Lemire. So, but if this is completely new to you, I want to leave it at that spot because I really, really don't want to spoil it for people. This because Jeff Lemire's writing, I think, requires you to kind of want to turn the page and find out what's going on next. But I thoroughly recommend. It's only in issue 1. This isn't a self-contained book. This is only in issue 1, and apparently it's quite it's going to be quite a thick tome. There's a commentary at the back where he says, "Oh, it's going to be a 350-page story," and I say, bring it on because that was great. Now another writer whose work I'm enjoying, and a lovely cover by the way, is Joshua Williamson. And the artwork in this book by Andre Bresson, I don't know why it is, but I particularly loved. They've done the flashbacks in black and white to this storyline. Now this is issue 7, and I'm kind of putting this in because I wanted to show you Joshua Williamson, who's doing the Dawn of DC Night Terror stuff, how I think he is an aficionado of all things horror. Because this has been a cracking. It's the story of these two, this brother and sister, and their dad who owns Devilland, and it's a theme park, but the theme is horror. And obviously, the story is taking place in modern day between the brother and the brother and sister. This is someone whose brother died in the theme park, and she thinks there is a mystery afoot. You know, a little bit Scooby-Doo, I suppose, as I'm talking about it. And this is the dad, the mysterious figure behind it all. Here's his secret club that no one can get into. So you get the picture. But like I say, I wanted to show you this. This is his sister. I wanted to show you this because of just to show how Joshua Williamson loved. This is the backstory of the person. You know, this girl whose brother died in the theme, working at the theme park, thinks that he doesn't know, but this is the backstory. Other than that, this is quite a bit of exposition, but this is the horror that this image has been with us since the beginning. That's the son having a fight with the father, so it's all quite kicking off in a way in this issue 7, like that imagery. This is such nice artwork. Lovely colouring job as well. Let's just give a shout out to whoever's Adriano Lucas. I don't know if I've given him, Adriano, a shout out before. But again, I'll leave it there because there's not a lot more to go out to show you, like just our faces talking. And the last page will give a little bit away. It's a little bit of a cliffhanger for the next issue. So here we are. This is his mainstream work. Oh, Joshua Williamson. And I've got to admit, I've gushed about this before, so you better get ready for me to gush again. Because I've got a soft spot for Dead Man for a start. And this is lovely artwork that is suiting the storyline. Giuseppe Caminiacoli, and all these people. Caspar Wingard, Stefano Nessi, colours by Frank Martin and Caspar Wingard. Now, you know how much I like Caspar Wingard from his Against, what was it? All Against All for Image. A great. These are all great artists. But Joshua Williamson doing this horror, and Dead Man is having to possess Batman. And obviously, there's going to be consequences there because Batman has never been up for that. But Dead Man's having to do it to get through. You know, you can see the Caspar Wingard stuff here. Love it. Love his artwork. Yeah, look, that's pure Caspar Wingard. And his artwork does suit this nightmarish realm. And this is a bit of an origin of Insomnia, which is the new villain in this story. Lovely bit of colour in there. Because obviously I kind of have to, not scan read, but I don't quite take it. It's these deep dives with you lot where I'll kind of take in and notice bits, stuff like this. It's gorgeous. It's almost like I'm having a second read. And he's a great villain, intriguing villain, because he's across all of DC, and how they're it's a very simple conceit. The fact that he's just the Nightmare Maker, he's just like a comic book Freddy Krueger at the moment, in a way it seems, but they have been very well done stories. And obviously this is the main book, so this is one of your kind of tentpole books, which all the character stuff revolves around. And here's Zatanna having to save the day, because basically what Insomnia's done is put the world to sleep, so that obviously he can rule the nightmare realm. So here's Zatanna. I'm not going to go any more because there's a little reveal at the back of this comic, or is it the next one? Is it Zatanna? Oh, I forgot now. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there because Zatanna is the next Night Terrors that I recommend, and it is also my book of the week. Now, like I say, it was either between this or, you know, at least 2 or 3 of the other books I've just shown you. And the first thing that struck me in this is you've got a red tornado here where it kicks off from, because this kicks off from the first issue, not the last one I showed you, but the very, very first issue of Night Terrors. I think I did, in a past review, rate it. Yeah, I did. I definitely did. Dennis Culver on the artwork. Again, very, very well suited style to these horror characters. And I'm kind of liking, I'm not sure whether or not Zatanna always looks this young. But I'm not saying I don't like it. The art style suits Zatanna as well. I've got a soft spot for the character, you know, from way back when. And she's kind of desperate and casts a spell to get just to bring anyone in that isn't helping the rest of the world. Because obviously the rest of the world, you know, has fell asleep. So you've got aeroplanes crashing and everything's kicking off. So she's desperate and she conjures up Robot Man. And they're obviously not, he's not happy and she's not happy that it's just him. So from there, they have this grudging, not friendship, this grudging team up. And again, I like the way he's portraying Zatanna, but I'm not sure if this is like a younger version than I know. I know she's not an old crone, but anyway, again, look, the artwork on the horror side of things, you know, is the big bad, and she's got something else, just one more trick up her sleeve. I like the pun as well, and bash. I don't know what goes on here, but again, lovely art. Even her kind of disappearing, where you've got it all kicking off outside from the previous page, and even her, apart from her glove, kind of disappearing into the dark. I just love the way small details like that, where you can just see, look, the arm, elbow, hair, but then the rest of the arm's gone except the glove. Love it, and it's darkness. Love it, and then full darkness. Brilliant. Love stuff like that, especially within the storyline we're doing. They have to go through this maze, and again, like I say, this just appeared to me to be a really youthful Zatanna. So I don't know. I thought I'd mention it. I don't know what you guys are thinking, and whether see, I'm not DC heavy. Where I say, I'm not saying I'm a Zatanna collector, but just it seems that when she appears, I'm kind of into the storylines. But it just seems like this is a really young, youthful Zatanna, but I'm up for that. Look, if they're reinventing the character in the Dawn of DC era and stuff like that, look at this. Oh, beautiful artwork. Love this kind of almost manga. Reminds me a bit of Joe Madureira when he was like kind of right back in his early days, and there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. In a way, this is better than Madureira's. It's more not lifelike. It's more like it's still stylized, but it's more edgy. Love it. And less cartoony. I'll get there. I'll get there in the end. This is all nice manga flourishes as well, which is very. It seems these manga flourishes seem to be very popular these days, and their begrudging team up. You know, they learn to love each other. What a classic story. What a classic trope. Love it. You know, they've succeeded in their mission. I'm not going to turn the page. I'm not going to turn the page because there's something, again, don't want to spoil it. I know you can go in the comic shop and flick through it, but I'd rather you, if I'm forcing you to do it, then haha. But if I'm not, if you want to know, hit me up in the comments and I'll kind of, you know, let it go from there. So that is my book of the week. Thoroughly recommend. Don't think it's a cover of the week though. I've got to say. I mean, that definitely says horror. As far as covers go, look at that beauty. And I think I've raved about Red Goblin covers before. There's something about, I don't know if it's the same artist, you know. No, it's not. Bjorn Barends. Look at that. Look at that artwork. Compared to that artwork, I'm just going to mention what isn't going to be cover of the week. Look at that. Who decided that is cover art? I've got to admit, I don't get it. Anyway, I'm not going to, you know, this is for good artwork. That's great. I'm not sure if it's, you know, it's action packed, but what a great image, great artwork, and the same goes for that. You know, you do not get more moody than that. And where this Night Terrors thing is, you know, squarely based in horror. You know, that is exactly what you want. You know, what would get me to buy the comic? What's in it? Like I say every week, you know, if these was on a little spinner rack in a newsagent's, what comic would I be buying? That's classic Spider-Man. It's not exactly the most exciting though, is it? But his outfit is all frayed up. So is he getting beaten up in this issue? So it might make me look, but it's not the most action-packed. That's a gorgeous image, but again, it's not the most action-packed. And it's going to have to, it's between these two. It's between these three, you know, Dark Ride. I'm going to discount that. I'm going to say that's in at number 3. And I think, as beautiful an image as that is, this one, for me, I'll keep the 2 there, just so we can compare and see if anyone disagrees. This one, for me, is so much more moody. I mean, you've still got the rain here, and it's very, very well crafted, painted. I think this just pips it for me because it's a bit more classical with the graveyard and the classical artwork, pen and ink kind of thing. This is gorgeous, don't get me wrong. This is all fully painted or whatever they do nowadays. But the geek in the geekyOlhog of me just loves all this, you know, the shadowing, the lightning behind it, bearing in mind, you know, blah, blah. So that is going to be my cover of the week. And I hope you've enjoyed that journey through 6 of the best. It's my favourite. To be fair, it is my favourite video of the week because I get to just gush and show people stuff that I like, and I enjoy it rather than moaning and groaning. And on that note, I look forward to going through another 6 next week, and I hope you can join me then. And I will bid you all adios.